Happy New Year, everyone. Maybe 2018 will be a blessed year for us. I have written 2 articles on this subject, and the reason why I'm doing this video, because it's not getting out like it should, in which I believe that Google, YouTube, and other search engines are suppressing this information from getting out to the masses that is connected to bad actors and players such as Obama, Hillary, Russia, North Korea, Iran, Pakistan, United Arab Emirates, acting on our own soil. So let me present this to you, and I hope that at the end of this video, you will also feel that this is a viable threat to our national security. This is Project Pelican that also ties to Uranium One deal. The Uranium One deal was passed in 2010 that did not go through the CFIUS. It's a U.S. government interagency review board called the Committee on Foreign Investments in the United States, whose responsibility is to conduct a thorough review of any commercial acquisitions of U.S. infrastructure, the property by foreign entity that may have a national security implication. And under the Obama administration, this was not looked at or reviewed. Concerning Uranium One and Project Pelican, now Senator Nunes also has the same questions. He is also reviewing the Uranium One deal with new questions and new accusations and a new investigation into this, which I find it hard to believe that they have covered it up so long. House Republicans announced a probe into the circumstances surrounding the sale of Uranium One mining company to Russia's Atomic Energy Agency, Rosatom, that was approved by the Obama administration in 2010. I want to show you a little bit about this subject that I will be talking to you and showing you the evidence of. And at the end, I will show you also a simulation video of this club car ISO shipping containers that are converted into missile systems that can be transported on truck, that also could be transported on train, on rail. Now, Gulftainer is the subject, which is at Port Canaveral, that have a 35-year lease of ownership, and it is connected close to the Canaveral Air Force Station and the Trident base, along with everything else. This is also tied into the Iran nuclear deal negotiation. And I will put all these links in the description box as well so that you can do your own investigation, because I'm just skimming the surface and highlighting certain things that I feel that's important for you to know. And before I get into the article, I just want to do a little bit of background so that you will have a better understanding of the information. Ned, he put the CFIUS members under oath to explain why they approved Uranium One deal, which I believe the next shoe to drop will be the Project Pelican was passed in the same manner as Uranium One. It was done in secret without any oversight to pass it, because it would have never passed if Congress had been aware of it and the CFIUS. This article you can also get into. This is the simulator that I will show you at the end of the Club K card that is a national security threat. So let's dive in. Now, John Walsh, he was the CEO of Port Canaveral at the time, and also a personal friend of Hillary Clinton, that had to resign because because he couldn't get the 35-mile rail system accomplished for him, so he had to resign. The people of Florida protested it and was very effective. So he was forced to resign in 2016. And we'll get into that, and I'll show you the map of the rail system they already have in play with NASA and SpaceX and so forth. Also, the United Arab Emirates is the owner of Gulftainer, but they also have stake in Russia's Ust-Luga port report, and they are connected here. This CEO here is a very important man to know. In 2006, under the Bush administration, Dubai tried to obtain this port along with 13 other ports, Jacksonville, Tampa, all the way up to Baltimore and New York. The Congress wouldn't allow it, but they did do a compromise. So you can read into that, while under the Obama administration, they pushed it through by these backhanded deals secretly, like Uranium One. But this man was the CEO of the Dubai Ports World. But he is also the CEO of Gulftainer today. He's the face. He's a German. Not to alert people of all the radical Islamic ties to Gulftainer, which is the emir of the United Arab Emirates. These are the people. These are the owners right here. There's many subsidiaries of Gulftainer, which are Crescent Petroleum, Crescent Group, Crescent Enterprises, GT Enterprises, that's connected to Dubai Ports World, and the Abraj Group. But here's the actual owners of this. There's the CEO, the face of Gulftainer, that was also the CEO of Dubai World International at the time that Bush couldn't push through the 13-port foreign entity owning it. And his name is Flemming Dalgaard. And here's a little bit of his biography. Flemming Dalgaard is a CEO of Gulftainer. Prior to joining Gulftainer, he was Senior Vice President for Group Strategy of DP World in Dubai, but he was actually the CEO. That I will also have in the description box for you to do further investigation on. This is back in 2006 under Bush, that talks about this deal that didn't go through because of Congress, thank God. But they did open the door up for a later date for a leasing contract. And there was also a bill passed by Congress to block this deal or this sale. I have all the links to this in this PDI. It will be the first link in the description box. It is the most important link in the entire video for you to research. Everything is in it. Okay, now let's get into Project Pelican. The secret deal allows company tied to Saddam's nuclear bomb maker, Iran and UAE, to manage key Florida port facilities. And this is a paper done by the Center for Security Policy by Alan Jones and Mary Fanning. And this is their update as of last year, 2016. This is the Port Canaveral. They do have another cargo lift here. They started out with one. They now have 3. And they also have added the cruise ships and a vehicle section to it as well to date. Gulftainer Port Canaveral Cargo Container Terminal. And of course we know who Saddam Hussein is. This is Jafar, Dr. Jafar. In 2015, President Barack Obama's administration quietly approved the handover of cargo container operations in Florida and Port Canaveral to Gulftainer. a Middle Eastern port company owned by the Emir of Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates, and Iraqi businessman Hamid Di Jafar. Hamid Jafar is the brother and the business partner of Dr. Jafar Di Jafar, the Baghdad-born nuclear physicist who masterminded Saddam Hussein's nuclear program. United Arab Emirates base port operator Gulftainer, a subsidiary of the Crescent Group, was awarded a 35-year no-bid lease to Port Canaveral in 2014, following 2 years of secret talks in a deal codenamed Project Pelican. The Treasury Secretary Jack Lew declined to conduct a Committee on Foreign Investment through the CFIUS National Security Threat Analysis that under the Foreign Investment and National Security Act of 2007 is required for transactions affecting America's critical infrastructure and U.S. national security. Port Canaveral is in close proximity to the U.S. Navy nuclear submarine base, to U.S. Air Force Space Command bases, and NASA Kennedy Space Center. Also, SpaceX is there, which is not in this article. Gulftainer has port operations in the United Arab Emirates, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Pakistan, Turkey, Brazil, and Russia. Crescent Petroleum is a sister company of Gulftainer, also owned and operated by the Jafar family, was investigated in 1993 by the Treasury Department and 3 congressional committees to determine if Crescent Petroleum was a front company for Saddam Hussein. Dr. Jafar, who oversaw the production, movement, and concealment of Iraqi's nuclear program, initially fled Baghdad and Iraq in 2003, and as invading U.S. Air Forces hunted down Saddam's top WMD scientist. Upon his surrender, Dr. Jafar was subject to extensive interrogation by Western intelligence officials. Dr. Jafar is infamous for his uranium enrichment genius, is known to possess ties to Iran, Russia, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and the United Arab Emirates, as it was communicated with Pakistan Nuclear Physics, A.Q. Khan. Gulftainer's connection to the Clintons and 2 of President Obama's college roommates. The Jafar family has connections to the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation. The Jafar family also has direct business connections with 2 of President Obama's lifelong friends and college roommates, former foreign student Vinay Thumalapalli of Hyderabad, India, and Walid Hamid of Karachi, Pakistan. Thumalapalli and Hamid both bundled campaign contributions for Barack Obama and attended Barack and Michelle's wedding. In 2015, Wahid Hamid spent time with President Obama at the White House, aboard Marine One, and at Camp David. Wahid Hamid was also a member of the Pentagon's Defense Business Board under President Obama. Wahid Hamid also, along with Mohammed Hassan Kandu, another one of Obama's Pakistani college roommates, allegedly met Obama at the Karachi airport in 1981 at the beginning of Obama's mysterious tour of Pakistan. Hamid Jafar and his son, Gulftainer executive Badr Jafar, who is the nephew of the nuclear physicist Dr. Jafar, both have served on the board of directors at United Arab Emirates-based private equity firm, the Abraj Group. Wahid Hamid is a partner at the Abraj Group. Badr Jafar also has ties to Select USA director Vinay Thumapalli. These connections are important, which you will see later as we get into it. Badr Jafar and Thumapalli both attended the 2015 grand opening of the Gulftainer Port Canaveral Container Terminal. In an unusual step, President Obama appointed his foreign-born former roommates who have minimal history of working for American-owned companies. See, they're ahead of it here in the U.S. to be American chief marketing officers as director of Select USA. And here they are. Of course, you know Obama, Thumapali of India, and then you have Wahid Hamid right here. Then you have Badr Jafar, Hamid Jafar, and then Dr. Jafar D.I. Jafar. These people are all related from here. Crescent also has deep connections to Russia President Vladimir Putin and Putin's longtime associate and one-time deputy prime minister, Igor Sekin, known as Russia's Darth Vader, and the scariest man on earth, both of whom were career KGB officers. Dubai Ports World 2.0. Former Gulftainer executive who negotiated Project Pelican, now Chief Strategy Officer at Ports America. Takeover targets of Turkish firm, 38 U.S. ports at stake. They want them all. This is just the start of taking over the ports of the United States. This is Peter Ford, formerly with Gulftainer, now with Ports America. Former Gulftainer Chief Operator Officer Peter Ford was responsible for the negotiations that allowed Gulftainer to expand its footprint into Port Canaveral, Florida, according to Ford's LinkedIn profile. Ford's current position is Chief Strategy Officer at Ports America. The Ports America brand was crafted when, in the aftermath of 9/11, Dubai Port World was forced to divest all of its U.S. port operations, selling its long-term lease to High Star Capital. According to public relations firm Washington Media, Ports America owns stevedoring operation at 38 U.S. ports, including Port Canaveral, and is the largest port operator on the U.S. East Coast and along with Gulf region. June 27, 2016, Christian Bluerat, chief executive of Turkish port operator Yilport, confirmed that Yilport had put in bid for Ports America, but would not comment further other than to say it would make a final bid soon, according to the report from the Lodestar, which they have already bought. Istanbul-based Yildirim Holding, as head by Chairman CEO Robert Yüksel Yildirim, is parent company of Yilport. Yilport has reportedly set aside billions of dollars for the acquisition of U.S. ports. We want to help open up the U.S. ports to world business. If we buy assets there, there are some attractive ports assets in the Americas, CEO Yildirim told Bloomberg. Lloyd's List reported in May 2016 that Robert Yildirim claimed that Yilport was now in the second round of the sales process. Yildirim also made it clear that he would not accept anything less than 51% shareholder in Ports America and would be willing to buy 100% control if the price was right, according to the same report. I will be in the driver's seat. I need to have majority control, he said. There's no foreign entity that should have any major control in this country. They shouldn't be here, period. On September 23rd, 2016, a representative of Ports America declined to comment to Reuters about the sales process. Gulftainer owned in part by a foreign government. Gulftainer is owned by two shareholders, Hamid D.I. Jafar and His Highness Sheikh Sultan al-Khaimah, the ruler of Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, according to a 2012 World Bank International Finance Corporation IFC document. The World Bank document therefore establishes Gulftainer as a company owned in part by a foreign government. During the secret Project Pelican negotiation, Crescent established a Florida corporation called GTUSA and several other subsidiaries downstream of the Crescent Group. One interception of the use of structured layers of subsidiaries, sometimes referred to as downstreaming, is to mask true ownership. It's to hide their equity, so not to trigger CFIUS and FNSA review. Had a full-blown national security threat analysis of Port Canaveral's deal with Gulftainer occurred, it would have uncovered that Gulftainer is partially owned by the ruler of Sharjah, a foreign government. This information should have resulted in recommendations to President Obama to block the deal on national security grounds. A simple Google search would have uncovered the World Bank IFC document showing ownership by the ruler of Sharjah of the United Arab Emirates. Here's the structuring of the downstream subsidiaries in order to mask true equity interest of the GTUS. Sharjah, UAE, United Arab Emirates. Hamad Jafar, founder and chairperson, is the brother of Crescent business partner of Iraqi nuclear weapons mastermind Jafar D.I. Jafar. Crescent Group subsidiaries including Crescent Enterprise and Crescent Petroleum. Crescent Petroleum was investigated by the U.S. government to determine if it was a front company for Saddam Hussein. Then you have Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, Crescent Enterprise subsidiaries including Gulftainer and Crescent Investment. Crescent Investment invested in the Abraj Group. Hamid Jafar is a founder shareholder of the Abraj Group. Obama's former roommate, Wahid Hamid, is an Abraj Group partner. Gulftainer Company Limited. Sharjah, United Arab Emirates. Gulftainer is owned by two shareholders, Hamid Jafar and His Highness Sheikh Sultan al-Khaimah, the ruler of Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, qualifying Gulftainer as a foreign government-owned business. Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, incorporated in the Hamraza Free Zone, which is HFZ member since 2014. CEO Flemming Dalgaard reports to Peter Richards, Gulftainer Managing Director, 100% owned by GT International, which is Dubai Ports World, the same people that wanted it back in 2006 under Bush. They have obtained under Obama, and Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State at the time. Delaware USA. Let's go into the GT Americas group. Delaware USA, Gulf Americas Delaware Group, is all a part of the Gulftainer. So these are connected. Delaware, the ports in Delaware, USA, Tallahassee, USA. Project Pelican, the secret deal that bypassed a national security review. The Port Canaveral deal was forged in secret over a 2-year period. It is difficult to understand why Treasury Secretary Jack Lew, Hillary's longtime friend who served as Deputy Secretary of State for Management and Resources, would allow the Jafar brothers access to Port Canaveral. Secretary Lew bypassed the mandate office of the Director of National Intelligence, National Security, Threat Analysis, which should have been overseen by Director James R. Clapper. The National Security Threat Analysis is supposed to be ordered by and delivered to the Treasury Secretary, who is also the designated chairperson of the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. So Jack Clapper is up to his chin in this as well, which we all knew, but I'm showing you some connections that people can get out there and further research. This should be massively talked about. Under the Foreign Investment and National Security Act of 2007, The President of the United States is responsible for investigating foreign investments that could jeopardize national security. The President is the only federal officer with the power to block such transactions. President Obama, therefore, was the ultimate authority responsible for allowing Gulftainer and its owners, the ruler of Sharjah and the Crescent Jafar family, to take control of Port Canaveral's cargo container operations. President Obama's final authority, nevertheless, does not diminish the importance of the damaging roles played by the Clintons and the Treasury Secretary Lew. Congressman Duncan D. Hunter, Republican in California, is an Iraq War veteran who enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps the day after the September 11, 2001 terrorist attack. Rep. Hunter, now a Marine Corps Reserves Major, is the chairman of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee's Gulf Guard and Maritime Transportation Subcommittee. In 2014, Rep. Hunter sent a letter to Treasury Secretary Lew requesting a CFIUS National Security Review of Port Canaveral Gulftainer deal. A June 12, 2015 Orlando Sentinel article following up on Rep. Hunter's 2014 request reported that the U.S. Homeland Security Department and Federal Maritime Commission had reviewed information about the cargo operations, but an additional request for more review by the Treasury Department Committee on Foreign Investments, CFIUS, did not occur. Now, I could go on. Look at this article. It goes on and it goes deep, y'all. But it's very detailed. Okay, let me put these connections together. Uranium One extracts uranium from our soil through Russia. That contract made by Hillary and Obama that is connected to Gulftainer subsidiaries. Some of the uranium leaves U.S. soil and some does not. That is exported to Iran, North Korea, and other country partners they're in with, that is connected to the subsidiaries of Gulftainer, that's supplying our enemies with our uranium. Also, Gulftainer ship weapons as well. The subsidiaries of Gulftainer and Crescent Petroleum, the Crescent Group, Crescent Enterprise, and GT International and the Abraj Group should not be operating on our soil. This is the nuclear delivery system, the Trojan horse, the perfect storm that's being created right here on our very own soil. And what Obama did was make sure his Pakistan buddy was the staff chairperson on CFIUS to make sure uranium deal went through and to make sure that Project Pelican went through, that has ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, that also have ties to the Iran deal. It all goes together. Gulftainer is in a joint venture with Russia state-owned Rostec, which owns 100% of the shares of Rosaboron Exports, the exporter of the Club K container missile launch system. Here is a map of the rail system now at Port Canaveral that connects to NASA and other areas that they were wanting to extend out 35 more miles. But this rail system, here's NASA. Of course, here is the complex. All right, here's the ocean. This goes to Jacksonville, Florida, which I lived there almost 30 years, which concerns me. I have family there. This goes down to Miami, which they were wanting to expand down into Brevard County, which is marshland. Why would anybody build on marshland? So you have to ask yourself, what are they really up to? And this is connected to Kim Jong-un. And when you read this, it would probably take me hours to get through with this. But North Korea is part of the subsidiaries with Crescent and Gulftainer. Russia, Pakistan, Iraq, and these very bad players. The thing about Dr. Dia Jafar, he is still on the sitcom list as a terrorist. So Obama has been doing business with known terrorists that is on our terrorist list. Jafar is a board member of Crescent and Gulftainer that was present in our country in 2014 for the grand opening of Gulftainer. So this news needs to get out. I can think of many scenarios that can happen with this Gulftainer being in our country, operating at our ports, and more than likely transporting these Club K ISO shipping containers that are actually missile systems. Could be all over the country, could be all over the world. We don't know until we have an investigation. These club cars right here, all over the country and all over the United States, I could imagine. My mind could go wild with this, and it's not detected by anyone. When you see this on the back of a truck, you don't know. You think it's a regular shipping container. If you see this going down on a train system, you think it's normal. It's supposed to be there. If you see this on shipping container ships, you say this is normal. It's supposed to be there. Well, it's not. Let me show you what's inside these, as well as the 4 missiles that can be armed with nuclear capabilities. Let me show you the simulation of what the Club K was created for, was designed to do. I don't know about you, but this is very troubling to me. Now the Club K has 4 missiles which can carry biological, chemical, conventional, electromagnetic pulse EMPs, or nuclear warheads. Now, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Who's to say that they haven't already transported these around to strategic sites in the U.S., in every state, and every small city? What's really scary about this is it's all controlled by satellite, and they can activate this with their cell phone or their laptop. They don't even have to be in the country. The equipment is already here. This needs to be investigated. This Port Canaveral needs to be thoroughly investigated of what is in there and what kind of operations they are really doing. Spread this video far and wide because the information is not getting out. Google is suppressing it. YouTube is suppressing it. And others. Just do what you can. But this is very scary. Dr. Jafar, he is still on SOCOM's list as a terrorist. He has not left the list. And Obama has allowed him access to the second busiest port in the world, Port Canaveral, that is also connected to Elon Musk SpaceX. Also, Gulftainer has obtained a contract to handle recovery of the Falcon 9 rocket booster from the SpaceX drone barge docked in Port Canaveral. How did that happen? So I will leave these links, and have a safe new year, and we'll see you in 2018. Peace out.